Hello all, this is me Soundarya KS. In this video, I will read about Salaam Abdul Kalam by Sudha Murty, written by Sudha Murty. So let's begin. The book is How I Taught My Grandmother to Read and Other Stories. And the page number for this story is third chapter, page number 15. So let's begin. I have been writing columns for a number of newspapers and magazines for a while now. One of them was the Week magazine. Writing columns is not an easy job. One has to keep coming up with interesting anecdotes to write about. Sometimes the incident is so nice you feel writing more, but you have to be careful about the word limit. Sometimes you don't get any ideas at all, though the deadline may be nearing. Only very few gifted people can write regular columns for a long time. Once I wrote a column for the week on the role of information technology in people's life. It was called IT Divide. It was based on a true incident that once happened to me. Soon after the column appeared, one morning I got a call from Delhi. The operator said, Shri Abdul Kalam wants to talk to you. The time Abdul Kalam was a principal scientific secretary to the government of India. I had never met him in I had never met him in person till then. I had only read about him in the newspapers and seen him on TV. Of course, I started wondering why a person of his stature would want to talk to an ordinary person like me. We had nothing in common. It would be like a meeting between a Himalayan peak and peak of Unkal Hill, which is in the small town of Hubli in North Karnataka. When Abdul Kalam came on the line, I said, Sir, there is a mistake by the operator. Perhaps you want to speak to my husband, Narayana Murty. Murty knew Mr. Kalam. From the other end, a soft, faint voice replied, Vanakkam. There is absolutely no mistake. I told the operator to connect to you only. I was thrilled. Sir, you don't know me, but I know a lot about you. I have read about your life in the book Wings of Fire, but I do know about you by reading your columns. I read Ananda Vigadan regularly, where you talk about your dreams and your struggles. Today, when I read IT Divide in the week, I laughed and laughed. You have written on a tough topic in such a humorous way. I called my colleagues in the office and told them to read the column. Normally, whenever your column appears, I read the last paragraph first because it contains the gist. Then I read the remaining portion as and when I get time. That was the best compliment I had ever received. When I write, I always think of the end first, then the beginning. Kalam seemed to have guessed that in no time. I had heard from many people that he is extremely simple, wears only white and blue shirts and slippers. Soon I got to know that this was not an exaggeration. After our talk on the phone, I met him several times. Till today, The more often I met him, the more I am convinced about the essential simplicity of the man. Any interaction with him is a joy, and I always look forward to it. I met him for the first time in Bangalore. He sent me word that he wanted to see me, though he had a packed schedule. I was waiting for him in a room when he came in, looking cool in spite of a long, tough day. For a while, we talked about literature and human qualities. He asked me to chat in Tamil. How come you know such good Tamil? No, sir, I replied. I can't speak Tamil, but I can understand. My translator, Mr. Arogya Velu, is an excellent translator. The credit for what appears in Ananda Vigadan should go to him. As we chatted, a man without a prior appointment wanted to enter. Kalam's security personnel were reluctant to let him enter. Finally, Mr. Kalam said, "Please allow him. It does not matter. He might have come from a long distance." A middle aged man entered the room along with a photographer. He was holding a huge album and a bag. He told Kalam, "Sir, I own this institution," and kept this album in front of him. "Please come for our prize distribution day. It will be a great honor for all of us." Kalam looked at a few pages of the album and said, "I'm short of time, so I will not be able to make it. May God bless the children." Then the man requested for a photograph with Kalam, to which he agreed immediately. The gentleman took a pink colored shawl from his bag and told the photographer to take this photo while he was laying the shawl on Kalam's shoulder. The photograph was duly taken, and Kalam thanked him and continued talking to me. But my attention was still on the man. I noticed that he took back the shawl and walked out of the room. I could not control my anger. "Sir, he has taken the shawl which he presented to you." Kalam smiled at me and said, "It does not matter. I don't need any of them. Probably he needs it." Each time I meet him, I'm amazed at his straightforward behavior and its secular outlook. He has a compassionate heart which particularly loves all children. After that meeting, whenever I was in Chennai, I would see him in his chamber in Anna University where he was teaching. We would talk about many issues, the main one being about education, particularly in the rural areas. He is extremely grateful to his teachers and holds them in the highest respect. Once I was sharing my experiences in Chandipur, Orissa, and a lesson I learned from a young fisher boy called Javed. He was a poor schoolboy who helped his mother sell red crabs. For an entire day's work, he received only 5 rupees. He was happy and enthusiastic. When I asked him how he could always remain so optimistic, he said, it is better to be worn out than to be rested." As soon as told the story to him, Kalam wrote Jawad words down on a piece of paper and exclaimed what a great piece of advice it was. He told me that he liked Odisha immensely, as he had spent many years in the state doing Mysore tests. "If you are doing something in Orissa, I will definitely come. I know you work there and your state is very dear, and that state is very dear to your heart too." Once I decided to visit Rameshwaram along with a group of friends. When Kalam got to know, he was very eager to go with us as it is his birthplace. He said he would join us at Madurai railway station. He had made all the arrangements with his nomination for the post of President of India was announced. He told me we will keep the plan open for Rameshwaram. By this time, I was sure he was going to be the President of India, irrespective of the election. We could not ask him to join us as it could be a major security problem for him. Sadly, I had to tell him, "No, sir, please don't come. We will go on our own." By the time we returned from the trip, he had, as I had predicted, been elected president. He invited me to his swearing in ceremony in the Central Hall of Parliament. When he stepped into the hall amazed me. It was filled with children, teachers, his family members, odd people like me and Father George, who used to be my student in Bangalore and then was doing his research under Kalam in Anna University. It was a most unusual oath-taking ceremony. Everyone seemed to be close to Kalam. Normally, such ceremonies are attended by industrialized politicians and other VIPs. But here, there were students, teachers, scientists, ordinary middle class people, and friends of Kalam. I saw Mrinalini Sarabhai, whose husband, the late Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, who also a great scientist and knew Kalam well. Her sister, Captain Lakshmi, had contested against Kalam for the post of president. He too was present in the audience. I came away from the function feeling deeply moved by the love. I saw everyone showering on Kalam. After a few weeks, I asked my son, who's a teenager, to meet Kalam. My son said, "Amma, he is the president of our country. He is learned and well respected scientist. He is a very busy man. What will he talk about to a person like me?" Child, please understand, I knew him before he became the president and have met him after he became president. There is absolutely no change. He loves talking to people of your age. That is his mission. He interacts with children through mail and chat. That is the reason I want you to meet him. Learn from him those qualities which you will never learn in any university. Somehow, my son was not very convinced. "He is too big man for me," he muttered. Nevertheless, he was there when we had dinner with Kalam. For the next 2 hours, they hijacked the entire conversation. Murty and I could only sit and listen. They discussed the best operating system for computer, the great Tamil saint Thiruvalluvar and his teaching, the future of the children of India, teaching mythologies in America. After he left, my son told me, "Amma, I never felt that I was talking to the President of India. Rather, it was like talking to my grandfather, whom I loved so much and lost 4 years back." Amma, Amma, what you said was true and not at all an exaggeration. When Kalam went by train on a tour of Bihar, he invited me to go with him along with 5 other friends. There I saw another face of Kalam. He would walk more than all of us. His schedule would start at 6:30 or 7 a.m. and end and end at 10:30 or 11 p.m. At 71 years, he was tireless and the most enthusiastic person in the team, all of whom were much younger than him. He would regularly address large group of students followed by question answer sessions. He would take individual questions and answer them. Then he would make the children recite some of the important lines after him. He reminded me of a loving school teacher or a doting grandfather or an excellent friend to these children, irrespective of the difference in age. During Bangalore's IT com, I watched him taking an internet class for thousand students. He had their complete attention and was excellently prepared. When we built a 150 bed pediatric hospital in Bhubaneswar, Orissa for poor children, I was very keen that he should come and inaugurate it. I remembered his promise made to me in Chennai that he would come to Orissa if I invited him. But now he was the president of India, and there were many people like me inviting him to similar function. He was no longer a professor at Anna University whom I could approach on telephone or send an email and convey my message. However, remembering his promise, I sent an email assuming it might not reach. But within a few days, I got a reply from his secretary saying that he had agreed to inaugurate the hospital. Coincidentally, it was the eve of Buddha Purnima, 15 May 2003. I have heard many stories of about Buddha who was about 2500 years ago. I was fortunate that this great teacher and this lover of children could at least inaugurate and appreciate our effort. So this is the end of the story. I know the story is really long actually. The story goes up, from the page number 15 to page number 25. Yeah, that's a big thing. So that's it. The end has come, and for me to I'm taking this audio now, and again the video editing will take about for 1.5 hours to 2 hours. But for you, it will only take you about 20 minutes to see this video, and only about 1 second to click that subscribe button. Please click it. It will be a big motivation for me to do more videos like this. So I hope you will subscribe, like, and share my videos. And thanks for watching. Thank you.